Hi there, I'm Brad Summers,
And I'm Randy Wellbaum.
and we'd like to share a message with you about Rondo Form, using the example of Ludwig van Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 2, Movement 3, for piano and orchestra. Rondo form is typically found in two variants, the 5-part rondo form and the 7-part rondo form. 5-part rondo form is found in the following manner: A, B, A, C, A, affectionately known by students as Abaca. The 5-part rondo form, as with any other variant of the rondo form, shares the same purpose of showcasing and returning to a central A section with which it opens. All of the A sections are typically in the same key. However, each A section following the first one is generally in some sort of variant. In other words, it's primed. Each section, the A, B, and so forth, does not have to be tonally closed, or it doesn't have to end in a conclusive way. Interesting about the rondo form, the 5-part rondo form, is that other variations can exist, including combinations with sonata form, the sonata rondo form. Also, compound sections within the rondo form may exist, giving each A, B, and so forth section a binary form within itself.
In addition to the 5-part rondo form is the 7-part rondo form, which contains all of the same aspects of the 5-part rondo form. However, you do see a return of the B section as well as the A section at the end, creating a format of A, B, A, C, A, B, A, sometimes affectionately known as abacaba. The final A and B section returning is very important to the overall form of the piece with that repetition, and also sometimes can include some variants and can be identified as primed sections as well.
Thank you, Randy. Now to our example. Ludwig van Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 2, Movement 3, for piano and orchestra. This composition was originally written to showcase the virtuosity and skill level of the performer, which in most cases in those days was Beethoven himself. It was originally written in 1787, somewhere between 1787 and 1789. It was published in 1795, but then much later in 1798, an additional ending was composed for a special performance in Prague. Beethoven, when he gave this piece to the publishers, actually admitted that it was not one of his best compositions, interestingly enough.
If you want to learn more about this piece and any details concerning it, feel free to pause this presentation at this time and to read further about it. We'll now see how the rondo form applies specifically to our piece by Beethoven. As you can see from this overview, the Piano Concerto No. 2, Movement 3 is composed in a 7-section rondo form, sometimes known as abacaba. We see here that consists of A, and then we see something slightly unusual. The B section here we've actually identified as being in a binary form, so a compounded format there that contains both the rondo as the overall form, but with a sub-form of binary occurring in the B sections. And then, of course, we have our A prime, C, A, B in binary as well, and then an A double prime. The reason for the prime marks on the A sections is because those phrases have been extended, and also we even see some variants. We'll now go ahead and turn over to our variations audio timeline, and we'll have a listen at this piece. We will begin now by listening to the A section, our primary theme of the piece. Begins as a beautiful, articulate piano solo, then the orchestra tutti joins in. You now hear in the future A section that it's literally just a repeat of it. The ending does vary slightly and is extended. Once again, you have the A section, just identical as the very first time. And then you come to our A prime section, which you'll notice is different. We're in a different key. How unexpected. We'll go ahead and discuss this in just a moment. Let's go ahead and now look at the C section to contrast our A sections. There definitely is influence from the A sections found here within the C section. However, it's contrasting in its overall mood and style. You'll hear that as we listen here. Contrasting major keys versus that minor key that we hear in letter C. Also important to note that the C section is one of the only sections in the rondo form that does not actually get repeated. And so this really is truly a transitional section that just fills us in and leads us into our A section once again. So it does have a very close connection with the A, as it is completely bookended by those two sections. Back to A. We'll now go ahead and take a moment and listen to the B section, which is once again an umbrella category of an overall binary form divided into 1 and 2.
Yes, the B section, as Randy said, is one of the examples, as we previously discussed, of one of those sections that has its own internal binary form. We'll go ahead and play that now. So, from what we remember from the A section, what we hear in this section is very contrasting. It begins kind of slower, a lot more stately and regal, with these little interludes of quicker notes. Now we'll go on to the second B section. Now, here we go on to the second part of the binary form within the B section. Now there's a little more similarity here to the A section, but not enough to consider it part of the A section. So here we consider this a second contrasting from the first part of the B section, and it's also much longer as well.
Once again, we hear it transitioning into our A section, which surprisingly in this case is in a different key. It's very interesting how Beethoven treats this moment. He goes against all the rules that A's are in the same key, but then he brings it back. We're back in the same key as all of our previous A sections. We'll go ahead and hear this A section out, listening specifically for the contrast compared to other A sections. This particular A section almost has influences of other forms that exist, including the form of variations. This particular element here also seems like a development of it, so almost a sonata rondo form as well, where you're varying the theme and you're further developing the theme and expanding that theme. And here we have a nice phrase extension that occurs. It seems like we're winding up, going to arrive at a nice end. But Beethoven's not done yet. He wants to show off just a little bit more. And that is the piece. What you've just heard, in part, is a 7-section rondo form. If you want to go ahead and listen to more of this piece, it's readily available online to find in several different recording instances. I think that the most prominent thing to note about the 7-section rondo form is really just the pertinence of the A section and how prominent it is in its return and its presentation. And so I hope that you've enjoyed this piece. We'd like to thank all of you for joining us on this presentation, and we hope that you've learned a lot and that you enjoyed your time with us.
If further reading would interest you, we invite you to pay a visit to our Works Cited page.
Thanks again for listening, everyone. Take care and happy spring break.